Welcome back, everyone. Let's play Terra Invicta, episode number 19 as the Academy. And hopefully making some good progress, and hopefully, more progress every episode. That's the goal. Let's get at least through 2035, completely through it. 2036 maybe, if we can edge into that. Anyway, we have finished community policing drones. I actually forgot about this, but this is the Xeno research, and we know that we actually have 2 storyline Xenotechs right on deck, right at the point of finishing. Still, this is really good. Gives us the -2 enthrall for the aliens on public missions, so that's their public opinion thing. The terrorize missions, which is, thank goodness they are gonna, and those will be a little harder. They keep terrorizing poor Canada. And then lastly, the abduction missions. Very good things to have negative against the aliens, because I think the aliens, when they succeed, they have some benefit to doing those. Anyway, I mean, the only negative to stopping them from doing that is that we won't get little pop-ups saying alien activity, which give us a 1% bonus to our xenology research. But considering our xenology research is almost at 150%, I don't think that's that big of a deal. Now, as I was saying, we have 2 very, very close to finishing. So I think what we'll do is we'll go through to determine their purpose first. I'm not sure if I want to start building up any of these other ones. Control points, not that big of a deal. This one might be a little bit more interesting to do. Yeah, the control points, I don't think that they've been stealing our control points. It's more about like little shifts in the public opinion, or honestly those terror missions and those abductions. I'd like to make those more difficult. Anyway, let's go back over here and choose their purpose, which should be done like look at that, from 4 days. It is going to be done very quickly. So everything is kind of where it was. I mean, we can just fly forward and go right to this, because it will be done. Okay, good. Slavic Commonwealth. We're still, the Unity projects just get so many things. It's nice. You guys can actually see what it looks like to progress. I put out. Did I mention this? I don't know if I mentioned. Oh, that's a lot. Wow, that's a lot of fissiles. I mean, the fissiles is one thing I'm like very, very good on, but my goodness, that is a lot of fissiles. It's almost worth looking at a little bit closer. 5.9, my goodness. I mean, my total monthly right now is 52. So this would be 652. I mean, over a 10% increase. Not only that, but that's just the base level 1. If we decide to go up even further. But I don't think I need more fissiles. I was so focused on them in the beginning, I feel like we're doing okay. Just continue. Ah, there it is. Okay, we have completed their purpose. We have been able to solicit invaluable information from the alien captive thanks to the discovery that Hydra falsehoods carry unique Pharocide signatures. Huh. Because it transpires that a Hydra will rather go silent than be caught lying, as far as we can tell, an unsuccessful deception is a source of great shame. It has been surprisingly straightforward to establish which matters the alien is relatively willing to discuss, with full confidence that it is not deceiving us. In consequence, we have now gleaned significant understanding of its species' intentions for Earth. I don't think I fully understood that. Transpires that Hydra will go silent rather than get caught lying. So they don't want to lie about things. They don't want to be caught lying about things. So they will just go quiet about things instead of lying about them. Okay. How does that help you? It just lets you know what categories they don't want to talk about, but that doesn't really... Well, I mean, yeah, you can kind of fill in the information that they don't care. It doesn't really tell you how that gets you. Well, let's find out. We have completely determined their purpose. Okay, report from the head of our translation team is attached. Despite objections from the more credentialed members of our team, I have allocated William Parker 2 hours per day to communicate with Rudy. We place no restrictions on what topics were to be discussed, apart from the most basic ones concerning military security. The results were surprising. Rudy, though unwilling to discuss anything that he considers a military or state secret, has been quite willing to talk about the history of his species. The Hydras apparently evolved upon an old planet with a single supercontinent upon a vast ocean, an ocean that contained the majority of the world's natural resources, but also teemed with deadly predators. The Hydras domesticated various amphibian species and used them to scavenge and mine resources from the seabed. Apparently, the Hydras developed close, and even sometimes fond, relationships with these species. Their civilization was built upon them, and once their genetic science advanced sufficiently, they uplifted many of them to near human intelligence. Unfortunately, this state of affairs did not last. The Hydras had only recently discovered spaceflight when their world was devastated by an interstellar weapon launched at their planet by a third sapient species. 99% of the entire Hydra race died instantly, taking with them much of Hydra history and culture. The only groups to survive were those off-planet in the Hydra's space habs and colonies. The Cataclysm, as it is known, seems to dominate what remains of Hydra culture. The species responsible for the Cataclysm is one we are already aware of. These are the Hydra slave warriors known as salamanders. The first action of the Hydra Defense Consensus was to neutralize and subjugate the salamanders, and their entire reason for existence is to ensure that nothing like the Cataclysm can ever happen again. Well, yeah, I was about to say, this explains a great deal. Kind of makes sense. I mean, this is a very interesting picture. This is super dark. Really, it should be that, you know, these guys getting blown up by people, which is quite unfortunate. Okay, let's finish. This explains a great deal. Now, the rigid, untrusting nature of the responses we have received to our diplomatic exchanges can be understood in context. Hydra paranoia towards other species is understandable. The question is, how can we overcome it? Now, I'm not sure it's completely understandable. I mean, it is, you can, yeah, I mean, there's, definitely to a certain degree, it's true, but they obviously already had a bunch of other species which didn't kill them, that they're like in some kind of symbiotic relation. Well, I don't know if it's more master-slave relationship, considering they're just controlling them with Pharocides, but I don't know. It's interesting. Okay, so that doesn't do anything for us yet. Now, note that besides this research Pharocide resistance, which we can get pretty quickly, we have some of these which require us to actually destroy an alien vessel, especially this one, salvage alien technology. In the long term, we hope to come to some kind of cooperative agreement with the aliens. In the short term, however, no matter our path, we will need a better understanding of the alien technology. To do so, we will need samples. Unfortunately, the only viable way to obtain them appears to be by force. Doesn't that not make sense from an Academy standpoint? This is the first place that, well, maybe not the first place, I might have mentioned things in the past, but it's the only one I can remember right now where I feel like this is a bit of a disconnect from the Academy's typical modus operandi. We're now saying, hey, we're going to recover things by blowing up. We have detained an alien, so I guess there is some kind of hostile actions that we're already willing to do. But it seems like it's a bit more of a stretch to going from detaining... Oh, we actually killed an alien, though, didn't we? No, have we killed an alien? I don't remember, frankly. I really don't remember if we assassinated one or not. I think we did. But we did detain one. Wow, we probably did assassinate. I guess they are aggressive. They are, hostile, so to speak, against us. At least they're the stuff they're doing on Earth. But blowing up a space vessel just seems like a much bigger thing. To me, it's like you have agents, espionage fighting on, in like James Bond type stuff where people are subterfuge and all that. Espionage, really. But then blowing up like a capital ship, like blowing up a U.S. carrier or something, just seems like it's a lot bigger. That's a lot harder to come back from. Anyway, so that's what we're supposed to do. But I think the next step for us will be to... I don't actually know if any of these are worth doing, so I think we'll just jump right to Pharocide resistance. Now, we're getting to the point where we're probably about to cross some threshold where everyone is just going to start hating us. Now, I have been very diligently making sure that everybody doesn't hate us. I've only let the initiative and the servants just completely given up on them. So they're both at war with us. But I've maintained constant contact and constantly just doubted upon the resistance, humanity first, and Project Exodus, for whatever reason, hasn't needed it. They're only at war with servants. Now, their resources, they're at 152. Now, I don't know how many... There's that one tech which reduces your cap, but that's still pretty high. I wonder if it's already over. I'm not sure, though. It might not be. They might actually be programmed not to cross the line to, get the aliens to basically just kill them. I don't know. Okay, so I'll come back when the next tech is finished. And done. Pharocide resistance. Less than 2 weeks later. Until we can ascertain some means of overcoming the aliens' chemosensory-based mind control, we are ultimately doomed to be in their thrall. Needless to say, this is highly undesirable. But, armed with the knowledge that the Pharocides are not a mere chemical signal, but in fact living cells, we've been able to formulate a treatment that shields humans from their effects. A vaccine, as it were, albeit one which requires regular booster shots in order to remain effective. Okay, well, I'll take it. Whoa! Wow, it doesn't look great, does it? It's just testing. It's just testing. That's not what you need for the vaccine, I hope. Okay, a certain cabal of financial and economic leaders have, as it turns out, been working on the same problem. Their biologists have taken advantage of the divergent evolutionary paths between Earth and the Hydra homeworld to pinpoint certain compounds which cause only mild irritation to humans, but which are quickly fatal to Hydra cells. Weekly injections into the bloodstream provide effective immunity to the Hydra Pharocides. It is a crude solution, but an effective one. The manufacturers of the Pharocide compound, as it turns out, are quite happy to supply us with their prototypes, despite our ideological differences, so long as we are willing to pay their extortionate price. We will attempt to reverse engineer these compounds, but in the meantime, it seems that some things never change, even under the threat of species-wide extinction. Well, we've done our part. Now it looks like they really are pushing us in there's only one direction we can really go. And that is, we have to do something aggressive. Alright, well, I think that that's going to be an interesting thing. Obviously, an interesting objective is for us now we need to put a spaceport up. And I don't know if I already put one out in one of the outer orbits of Earth, but if not, then I will do so. And it's going to be time to launch our first spacecraft. But, if we could only wait just a little bit longer, I could get a really good spacecraft. We almost have, almost. This is still probably 2 years out. But we have, we're getting to the really good tech. We're getting to the really, really good stuff. Not quite. Ultra capacitors is going to unlock the good stuff. Now, we don't have any other thing to do right now. So I guess we'll take the public missions, this one, as just a stopgap. I don't even think we really need that. I would be happy if we had some other project that we really need to get done. Oh, I didn't realize I was doubling up on this. Oh, I was doubling up on this probably to get this one to catch up with the ultra capacitors. I do need to make sure that we don't get overtaken here. We're still practically double what Project Exodus is doing. And again, nobody is even touching these artificial intelligence related ones. I don't know why. Yeah, we're very, very dominant in a lot of these. So we'll try to get through that as quickly as possible. Why did I want this so much? This is only for the noble metals. I don't think that's that big of a deal. It'll be nice to have, don't get me wrong, but I don't know what my motivation was. Anyway. Ooh, adamantine. Wolverine, is that you? Well, this is it. This is the big one. We have completed ultra capacitors, and this unlocks for us phased array lasers and terawatt fusion reactors. One thing which is going to be really important, which I haven't done well enough, and I actually forgot to do for the last 2 weeks in the game, so I should get to that now, is I have not prioritized expanding our energy benefit, our bonus. So we'll want to go and actually make a few more. Oh no, I did. I actually have 2 that are currently in development, but I'm going to build another 2 more somewhere on Mercury, because the energy labs are actually pretty expensive. It's minus 32 for the tier 2, which I'm seeking to add. So this bonus will go up to probably around 125 or so. It's 20%, but it's with the diminishing returns. Maybe it's only 120, I don't know. But it'll be slightly boosted within a month. And then about 90 days from now, unfortunately, quite a long time off, we'll get the next energy bump up, whatever that is, times 2, essentially. But yeah, so what we're definitely going to do is terawatt fusion reactors. I do want to prioritize this one over phased array lasers, just because it has some commercial Earth-related things which are good. So I think that it's super expensive, but it's probably, it's going to take longer to get, but it's maybe slightly more important to get first. So we have the terawatt fusion reactors. Why don't we actually just do together on camera, brief glimpse into what I actually do. The site, I think it's this one. Well, it's one of these places on Mercury is the place I want to add some missing things to. Okay, it's this one. So right now we have energy research, and this is 280, we have 121. Now this is 32 and 32, that means 64. So if we take 64 out of this, it's going to be like 50 something, so it's not enough to support 2 new energy research labs. But it will be if we just plop down another solar array here. That'll take 60 days. Then I can get 3 energy research stations here. Probably is overkill for me to, and I think that these are going to take 90 days, yeah. So it's probably overkill to do all these research stations. We're going to have actually quite a surplus of energy when all is said and done. That's okay. This can always be stepped up to a tier 3 if we decide to go that route. For this one, tier 2 is already like, you know, fine to the end game from my perspective, my very naive, like not experienced perspective. Anyway, I think that getting these extra 3 energy labs is going to be useful because there's just so much of the like towards the end game research, which is going to require energy. I mean, first of all, these 2 and 95,000 is not a short project. It's one of the longest in the game. Is it the longest in the game? Okay, no, there's 100,000, and then the end game tech is 100,000. So 95,000 is the second largest project you can undertake in the game. This gives you, in my opinion, the best fusion reactors. I don't even know if that can be debated. I think it's just true. Not just reactors, it gives you the best engines. And then we get phased arrays lasers also from energy. And of course, all of the faction-related projects related to these, like subsequent from these, are also going to be energy. So energy is very, very, very important, and that's why I think it'll be worth getting at least those 3 extra energy labs, maybe even more. I mean, throughout, if I see other places to throw in an energy thing, that'll probably be mostly only on Mercury, because they're so energy expensive. Yeah, I might throw another one here, and I might throw another one in here and there. Okay, and then you can see we've kind of been laying off the faction stuff because frankly, we don't really need this kind of stuff. I don't even know what we're doing. We'll go back and kind of neutralize everything, I guess. But I guess I'll leave the Xeno off because Xeno, I won't bring you back in every time I finish this research. But basically all we have, whoops, I clicked outside somehow. That happens every now and then. I think the only thing we have left to do, I mean, it's not think, it is the only thing we have left to do is this. Now, there's one other thing which we have to do, and let me cut away here for a little bit, but probably bring you back for the next thing we'll be bringing you back for is likely going to be building a space station and then from there designing our first spaceship. And man, I don't know if our first spaceship should be fusion. We probably should just do something like maybe I can get some missiles on it or something. I don't know. I might need some kind of stopgap frigate of some kind of gunboat. Just with the only demand is big enough to take out 1 alien ship. If I can do that, then we can get our research underway. Basically, we have this F1, this salvage alien technology, which all 3 of these are tied into that. So I'll see you back in a moment. All right, it's February, just advanced a couple days since the last ultracapacitor finishing thing. This is our synchronous station. It's been around for a while. It just has 2 space science labs with a solar. And this is the new one. Oh, it's called Teresa of Avila. Oh, that's interesting. Anyways, Teresa of Avila is going to be our space dock. So I just created this. I created it in high Earth orbit. Not really sure what the best place to put this is. I wanted it close enough to Earth that it can respond. I mean, it can be used as a response for things in the Earth area. You know, I didn't want it so far away. Like, I don't know where the optimal is. I just hope that high Earth orbit is enough. It like doesn't have much delta V cost to get out of Earth, but also it's quick to get to Earth if it needs to. So that's, I mean, it's just very arbitrarily decided that would be where we put it. Extreme Earth orbit just seems a little too far to me. I don't know where. I mean, that's an order of magnitude higher, so it's outside of the Luna orbit. I might as well just put the station on Luna at that point, which I think people have actually advised that you might want to do, or maybe an Earth Luna Lagrange point. Anyway, didn't do that. Did it in high Earth orbit, and let me know if that's just a big mistake. Well, I guess I'll show here the mediocrity of trying to do direct investment. We have quite a lot of money saved up and we have plenty of influence. So we can go to Mexico, which is, a medium-sized nation, maybe a little bit larger. We're up to, it's about 13. I mean, it's 13 for 3. That's medium-sized. I stand by my original statement. Okay, let's get some investment points in knowledge. We know that that we want to get the government rating up. Eventually, the current cycle of constantly increasing unrest hopefully will go away, but it's not there yet. So anyways, knowledge. What if we just boost it a whole lot? This is going to take 10k. Now, we make quite a lot of money, so that's not a big deal. Only 27 influence, almost. It's not even a substantial amount. We're at 6.801. We confirm. That has done basically 10 ticks of knowledge, and that gives us 6.85. So that's not bad. That's a nice increase. And that's 10,000 of our money. So you can see that basically on anything that is not... I would say that on anything which is not very small, a nation that is not very small, these direct investments they're not really substantial. One thing we might want to do is get like mission control up, basically converting our money into mission control, which would be nice. We can do 20 points in this for, again, around 10k, and that'll get this mission control not even up to 1 point. Confirm. Well, let's just go all the way, right? So 4 will get us there. We'll confirm. Hooray! We're up to 1 more mission control. So that was kind of a lot of money, 15k, I guess, to buy yourself a 1 mission control point. But I mean, Mexico is a place we're planning to keep, so I don't mind making the investment. We now have 1 more permanent mission control here. We don't have to. The nice thing about mission control is it doesn't degrade as the other things do. Also, the servants have been basically going around sabotaging stations. I've been watching, because they send Salvador. He's actually the person who does sabotage missions directly. I don't know what he's doing right now. What's your mission? Doesn't tell us, but he's been going around and sabotaging, like some examples is he sabotaged Bangladesh's thing. He sabotaged, not Pakistan's, Kyrgyzstan's. So he slashes these guys, knocks off a little bit of their boost. It's completely insubstantial. It doesn't have any impact, I'm pretty sure. I mean, he's targeting places which are small to begin with, and he hasn't targeted any places that I've seen of the Academy, so I also don't really mind or care, and not that boost is a big deal for me anyway. Alright, cool. I saw the 2 new energy stations have finished, and the bonus for this is just ludicrously small. I won't be adding any more energy labs. So 2 10% bonuses, raw bonus, because we're high enough up the bonus chart, has insanely diminished returns. It should be a 20% bonus total, and it's, as you can see, it went from 110 to 113, so it's only 3%. Yeah, that's not what I consider valuable or meaningful. So we will not be investing in more energy labs going forward. Alright, and just less than a month later, Great Nation says popped. Great. And this unlocks for us United North America, which I think is United States and Canada. And I think Mexico too. Although I don't think it involves some of the Central American areas. It might not involve Mexico, but I'm pretty sure it does. It also has... previously we already got the expanded EU, which gives us Turkey. We probably will start going to war with EU and actually making use of those claims. I want to take the Alpine states, so like Austria, Switzerland. I want to take those peacefully first. What next, though? That's the question of the day, isn't it? Institute resource utilization is very cheap. Space science for us it's not the best bonus, it's one of our worst. Okay, it actually is simply the worst. But at 93%, it's going to go pretty quickly. This is only 5,000 research. Just might as well pick this up, get it, move on. I'm kind of stalling because I think what we'll be doing next is Advanced Missile Warfare Doctrine. The reason why I'm thinking of leaning that way is because this will give us something we can grab in the very short term to fit a ship and shoot down an alien vessel. We can definitely, I mean, I think that their ships are getting continually more evolved, so better. I'm not sure if that's the case, but if it is the case, then, I mean, we should use the best tech or use some kind of better tech, since it's been a lot longer than when the first ships were introduced in this game. So, what I'm trying to say is effectively, the aliens should know about the early human ships and have countered them by like increasing combat power or something similar to that. And us getting the advanced missiles should be the second tier, because obviously this is global research, nobody's used that against the aliens yet. That's assuming the aliens have even been attacked or have attacked anything. But I mean, at least they would have seen the ships. I think that they have enough intelligence, just the same way we do. They can probably just look at the ship and figure it out. Anyway, I wanted to finish just by saying we'll do Institute resource utilization. Okay, so I was wrong about getting Mexico. The United States only gets claims on Canada for starters. That's definitely a project which we want to undertake, especially because we aren't doing any of the other socials things. We'll probably wait. I mean, we'll wait for Urban Warfare Doctrine to finish, which it'll be finished in less than a month. That we could probably even speed that along, but I don't think it's that important. And then we'll move over to this list of social projects is getting insane. But somewhere in here, I will find the Greater North America. Might be a more expensive one or something. Yeah, there we go. United North America. And that'll lead to United North America, which does include Mexico. Which is kind of like, I guess we're on track. We only have 8 mission control done for Canada. What I think I will want to do is put in a ton of mission control investment. I mean, I'm talking direct investment here. The only thing I'm missing from this is mission control. That's basically all I'm missing from getting Canada like in a great shape. So we can just throw a lot of our money at the problem here. Maybe I'll get another 2. So that's 7k, another 7k down. We got 2 extra mission control just by throwing all that money at it. What was that? Probably like 20k money. But we're just going to keep pumping this, and I actually don't need that much knowledge. I mean, okay, the United States has really run away with knowledge, which is fantastic, by the way. I mean, this is related to your research amount, so of course we want it as high as possible. When we merge, however, this is going to be unfortunate that Canada's knowledge will actually bring down the United States' knowledge a little bit. The combined amount is going to be less than the sum of them is worth less. I mean, it's the whole is worth less than the sum of its parts, unfortunately. But also the control point will be much less, especially because Canada's already gone to 4 control points. I feel like that is really the kick in the pants we need to just say, okay, unification is necessary. Sure, I don't think science is going to go up by 80. I mean, maybe it'll just stay the same, which would be, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's still there's an advantage here somehow. I'm pretty sure that I think there's an advantage here of merging them. I don't really know. If nothing else, it's one less nation we have to worry about. It's definitely less control points. I'm not sure if the economy is going to be good, or I'm not sure. Yeah, those are questions which will remain. The investment points will definitely go way down because Canada right now has actually a pretty substantial amount of investment points. Since they have no armies right now, they have 0 taken away from their total investment pool, which is great. That means they're doing a lot of good stuff. But once they're unified, they'll be part of the supporting effort for the United States' 6 armies, all of which have a navy, so it's pretty expensive. Anyway, I'm still planning to go this route. I mean, it's going to be a while before we do the unification because I plan to do it peacefully. I plan to... Okay, so the main disadvantage of doing peaceful annexation is that for some reason the military is not calculated correctly. Like, look at if the United States and Canada merged in real life, whether or not it was... I mean, let's assume it's not a military takeover. A peaceful unification. I know it's a kind of a preposterous scenario to consider. But, I mean, if you imagine that some... like an alien invasion, I mean, there was an outside motivation for it to happen. Canada would just essentially assume, they would just take on the military technology of the United States. I think that effectively the only thing you need is a little lag time to get the Canadian Army. What is it, like, I think it's 3 people armed with spoons and 1 destroyer. If South Park had it right, I can't remember the exact numbers, but something like that. Anyways, I mean, they basically just need time to arm the Canadians with U.S. technology. U.S. is not going to go backwards in technology. Canada's technology is not even that far behind ours anyways. I mean, I guess they're still using those. Are they still using those F-18s or F-16s? I forget. They're using some old aircraft, but I think that they're finally going to get the F-35. Who knows? Anyway, that's enough about this. So we're going to merge, and if the military tech drops too much, I promise you, I don't care. I will edit the save game. Because it just doesn't make sense that you have to militarily invade and conquer people to retain your military technology. It almost seems backwards. You should be ruining the other people so much that the expense of acquiring them is expensive. But it's not for me to... I'm sure that they're figuring it out. This is early access, after all. Alright, our quick Institute resource utilization has been finished. Nice little segment about this, talking about how water's everything. Kind of makes sense, but even without the Institute, I think it's ISRU, they call it, module, which I don't think is very important. We do have this nice dry holes are less likely, lucky strikes are more likely. So there's some merit to having that. Now, we're running into kind of a bottleneck of technologies. Notice that there's basically nothing for us to do with space science. We can't double up on, or I prefer not to double up on pretty much everything else. And also notice that there's no, there's something else missing from here, isn't there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, there's 7 of them. That's fine. I think what we're going to end up doing next is Mind the Machine, because I would like the cyborg stuff. That is going to mean that we have to... So let me actually do this. The alternative I was thinking about is Space Futures, which has the same problem that would be doubling up on something. Could also go with Advanced Missile Warfare. I know I talked about that before. Basically, we're sharing technology. No matter what we want to do, there's something that we're going to be overriding. Now, we don't have the missile technology. We never actually researched any of the missiles, earlier missiles. Not yet. So I guess that does mean that we should do this. Just get this one out of the way real fast. This will be done. DNA repairs will be done. In fact, we can slow it down. Kind of want it to be coincident with this next one. I mean, it doesn't have to be. There's other tech we can do. But when this one finishes, that's like the cue for us to... We're done with military high-tech, the global military research for a while. Because we're going to be getting the military stuff now from energy research. Anyway, this looks good to me. Great. Administration algorithms has been completed. This gives us the economy priority essentially becomes better. It has a more positive impact on the GDP growth when you finish a set, like a couple of points in it. And it does not mean an increase in the amount of waste generated. So it's just kind of a, you get more economy you get more GDP out of the priority, and that means also a relatively less amount of bad things generated per GDP generated. And also, there's a lot of good things here. I believe. Gosh, I don't remember these. So some of these are expensive, but we'll get some more points out of it, more control points. And that's also true of white collar automation, which is what I'm going to do next. Network propaganda wouldn't be bad either. Okay, it wouldn't be that great, but it's pretty cheap at only 10,000. We're going to go with white collar automation. This one has some good things like apparatchiks. This is like only 3,000 points for 10 more control point capacity, which is great. We've been doing investments, so the FDI modeling gives you a decrease in the money cost for investment. Predictive logistics is like army repair, I think. Even the cadre development programs, I think that's a military bonus, 5% to military maybe. But also that leads to something else which allows you to combat the terrorist missions. Anyway, I think there's a lot of good things out of this, and it makes sense to do. There's not a whole lot of... There's not a whole lot going on here besides improved ECM module, which we just only really need to get before we get our ships. So even though it's it's only 3,000, we'll just pick it up right before we get our ships. Now we just picked up on the space traffic control, which I completely forgot about. Even when I saw it on the list, I didn't remember what it did. Gives us 25% boost to mission control priority. Since we're prioritizing that priority so much right now, and it's only 1200, we're going to go ahead and double up on this. I'm going to do that, set this down to 1 for a moment, just so we don't waste too much of the decreased information bonus. Set this up to 3, just get this done as quickly as possible, basically. It'll be finished in, wow, 10 days, my goodness. And then we'll go back to things the way they were before, with a big impact on the amount of mission control we can generate. This really POs me. You got the initiative here, somebody, okay, it might have been me, cracked down their point. They still have points, and this has been that way for at least a week from the previous mission segment period, whatever. They're still doing spoils. That's ruining a country just for the sake of ruining it. You're not even getting the money at that point. In fact, it's weird. I think I still might be, but they are not, and I'd rather they not be doing it. So anyway, they're going. We're taking them out. And in the meantime, Mexico has crossed over to a flawed democracy over at 7. That's great. And we're trying to work on this dominated bit by, not trying to... Perhaps we are overdoing it a little bit on welfare. To let that creep back up a little closer to 3, which is, I think, one of the ways you can get cohesion down to 5. The dominated is probably going to be good for, this, making this go down. I've been having to manually decrease unrest, but I don't think I'll have to do that for a while now. We've kind of crossed the line. But this is another place where I think direct investment is going to be useful, so I'm going to do that. I mean, we're basically at the point of winning it for... from a knowledge perspective, I think we've crossed some nice threshold, like I said, but it'd be nice to bring this back down and all the other benefits that come with it. This is only 5,000. We'll do 20,000 or 20 points or 10,000. And what does that get us? We're at 7.016. 7.06. So 01 to 06. It was about 0.05. I'll take it. Anything else we would like to do while we're here? I think knowledge is pretty much everything I want to do. I will manually put points into mission control eventually. But for the moment, I think that it's probably a little bit better for us to be focused on just getting the democracy stuff all working out, and then we can put a lot of points into mission control. That we have a long ways to go before Mexico's time to merge is up. In the meantime, Canada is still aggressively pursuing a campaign of getting more mission control. They, with their 5 regions, and I don't think are there any of these economic? One resource region? Core economic region. I forget, is it the core economic regions which you get the 8 points from? One of them gives you 8 points for your command and mission control, I mean. I think it's the core economic one. So this one has 8 plus 4 times 6. So 32, if I did that right. 32 possible in this one, and we're at 12. Yeah, well. We can always do, what's direct investment look like here? Well, it's about 400 per. And apparently I've also invested in Canada in the past. 41,000. We'll do another 20 points of investment here. Which gives us almost one. Nah, we got to do at least. We got to get at least 1 point, right? So we'll do another 2,000. Okay. And that gives us 1 extra point. Hooray! We actually don't need all this mission control we're generating right now. We're just look at that, 36 under the cap. But that will change eventually when I start building ships. So good to have the extra capacity. This is a nice reward to have for building up a nice science outside. So typically I would just take the research and run, but this time we actually have a... yeah, it looks like we have skunk works on this one. So we can actually do this, invite respected engineers, devise new and improved methods of performing routine operations, which gives us off-Earth mining increased by 5%, and ships are built 5% faster. Like, heck to the yeah. That's absolutely what we want to do. I think I would choose that no matter, even if I had all options available, including over antimatter. This is just, it's a big yes.
Public opinion is moving in our direction.
People are doing missions, by the way. I haven't really talked about it. Here we are at the beginning of September. We're easily going to make it to the end of 2036. That'll be a year and a half progress. I'll try to push as far as I can into 2036 before I, call this one to a close. But we're getting pretty close on time, so I'm not sure how far we'll make it. Anyways, this is just the normal run-of-the-mill stuff. We did the public campaign stuff. We got investigations. This is unusual that I'm actually purging because we are over the cap. Just we have enough influence to afford it, and I think we're up for unification in February. So maybe that's when I can call this to a close, when we actually unify. And from there, we're just going to aggressively do military action to conquer. Then we have public relations, public opinion in the EU, and these things. Another alien, by the way, crashed, and I think it was in India. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if have the other factions been completing their assassinate or detain alien missions. Maybe that would mean that the aliens would replace them. Otherwise, I'm not sure why we're suddenly seeing a burst of alien crashdown activity. It's funny, in hindsight, I was kind of onto this, but it looks like if I start looking at some of the aliens around, we are no longer just being orbited by destroyers. We have a 2K force, a dreadnought, and a mothership that are now in orbit. And that is troubling, but probably, or potentially even more troubling, is this. 2 assault carriers. And if I have this correct, I think assault carriers are for landing on the ground, which is terrifying. Which means that it could possibly be time for the aliens to invade. Maybe they'll just sit in orbit for a while. Here's another thing which I've kind of been, maybe it's time for us to go to war with the aliens. I think that we're not even officially at war with them. What will that mean? I don't know. We've been pretty conservative about everything, trying to kind of hide in the shadows, but, is it time to take a stand? We know that our next mission is we have to salvage, we gotta successfully engage facility, landed UFO, orbital habitat, warship, or army. Well, maybe this is our chance if they land an attack. We'll find out. Okay, hold on to your hats, folks. Here we go. Aliens land warship on Earth. The aliens appear to have moved to the next stage of their plan for Earth. This is no midnight visitation or surreptitious abduction. This is an open declaration that they are here and they are powerful. We believe they are preparing to deploy an army of alien war machines. Our visitors, having dispensed with all attempts at subterfuge and arriving on Earth en masse, in plain sight and conspicuously well armed. Whether this show of force is intended to be a deterrent, or is but the vanguard of a full-scale invasion, may well depend upon humanity's response to it. Will definitely take me there. Okay, Abuja region in Nigeria, that's pretty far away. We believe we only have 30 days to stop it. Oh no. That is going to be very hard to get to. Okay, I'm going to reroute everybody there. Oh, first of all, we have to try to be friends with them. Okay, let me see if you... Well, yeah, I think we need to... Unfortunately, it's owned by the damn initiative. Okay, they are going to accept. Okay, so we will reroute all of the American forces there. Let's see if we can get the EU in. That would also be very good. Very good, very, very good. Actually, we only have, I think, 2 EU armies that are available, but at least 2 with navies. So, man, that's a little bit unfortunate. Russia. Russia has some nukes, plenty of nukes. Maybe there's some interest in Russia being welcomed as a potential ally. I'll take the 1 in 3 chance. Okay, well, that was kind of to be expected, I guess. And China. China is another, well, I mean, we have a lot of armies here. They're not all ours. I don't know if I've shown this. I probably talked about it. I laugh every time. Okay, 81% of folks. Oh my gosh, they declined at 81%. Oh my gosh, that's not good. This is the interesting thing is Japan is like the super military 6 point. I don't know if I've already mentioned this a lot, but this to me is just so hilarious that they actually have the invasion age technology. And well, before we were even invaded, they were ahead of the curve. It kind of reminds me of like an anime where, they always have, well, a lot of Japanese anime writers put Japan in like the center point, the focal point of a lot of potential fictitious conflicts just to, it's what you do, right? You write about your homeland. So this is basically an anime where Japan has the best military in the world. Well, maybe not best. I guess they would still lose in a one-on-one with the United States just because we have more numbers. 6 to their 3. But that's still pretty darn good. And it would be nice to see Italy with their one stinking army, which, never mind, does not even have a navy. Humanity first, what are you guys even doing? This is where you're supposed to be helping out. Okay, I'm going to ship forces over here. This is probably a good place for us to call the video to a close, unfortunately. I'll try to push a little bit longer and just get some things figured out, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, so we expect 30 days. September is a month with 30 days, I think. So that means we have until October 26th at 1900 before this goes away, and we really need to get there, and I think we have to assault it first, which this might also be an opportunity for us to just try to piss off the aliens to make sure that we're at war with them. We're going to go to war with them very soon anyway, so it might be time for us also to start building some vessels. I think we are very close to getting, in fact, let me speed this up now. I'm not even sure what I'm really doing here. This is nice, but what is this for? No, I don't even think we need it that badly anymore. In fact, that metal has become one of our most highest income values. So we're doing well on normal metals, base metals. Take that down to 2. This might even need to be a higher priority because we basically need some kind of weapons. It'd be nice to get these weapons ASAP. But at the same time, 3 days is not going to make that big of a... Well, it might. Let me just do it. No, I'm not going to do it, man. It's not going to make sense. I don't think that this is going to matter as much anymore. Wow, we got a lot of things to deal with now. United North America, I guess that's something would be nice. We should actually have some new skunk works coming online. I think 5 of them, which will be coming online soon, which will boost us to 118%. I may even keep building skunk works because it is 3% for faction works in 3 different slots. Not bad. But anyways, all eyes on Nigeria and the incoming alien invasion. Okay, another one has landed. And this is in Niger, which we don't own, so what we'll... Yeah, we're not at war, I don't think, with the alien administration, but this is, we're rivals with China, so China could declare war. I think we're going to do the same thing here. I may not be able to get to Niger in time. 29th of September. We'll probably put all our focus on Abuja and then see what we can do. I'm not sure. Okay, this is really annoying. Nigeria just canceled their alliance with both EU and the United States. I don't know what... I don't understand this. Doesn't make sense. I don't understand this. I've been thinking about this for a while too. I just can't quite make sense out of it. So this is the real dagger to me, is the fact that we can't actually improve relations until the 30th of December now. So that means that they accepted relations, the alliance, and because of that increase in relations, we have this barrier for increasing it again. But then they set them back from ally to normal. It's like a trick. So, obviously the aliens are everything right now. I would want to, maybe coup Nigeria or something. But even if I did, I don't know if it will hold. Maybe there's it cancels the cooldown in relations. But it's possible that once I coup it, I'll still have this may improve relations penalty. And if my forces get to Nigeria and I'm not allied or at war, they will just end up in a neutral place nearby. So that means now I have to declare war on them. I have to rival and then declare war, which means I have to waste counselors to go to war with them instead of just allying through the manage. Now, I don't know. This feels bugged to me. I'm not sure. It feels bugged. I mean, it does feel like the initiative should have just not allowed me to be allies to begin with. Anyway, I'm not sure how to deal with this. If this is normal, it doesn't seem right. I'm going to have to think about this for a while, but I'm going to just say that for now, this is a good place for us to call this video to a close. The aliens have landed, and this is probably a big turning point in this series. I suspect that things will heat up from here. Not only that, but that will mean that probably we need to get our space designs and all that into gear. So I suspect that this is the point at which action really starts to happen. And I'm hopeful for that, because I actually think we're doing pretty well as far as things have gone this far. We have pretty good technology as far on our military. You know, the U.S. is leading the charge as it generally does. So as long as we can get to these places in time, I feel like we will be able to assault the alien assets and take that over. I don't know how we're going to deal with Niger. Please just don't have... Yeah, it doesn't look like it has any defensive bonuses. So that would normally probably be a good thing for us to have, but we're probably going to get there and try to... We probably actually could do an alliance with Niger. How will they... Will they accept an alliance? They will. So we can at least do that with Niger and then go in there and try to save them. And we'll do that with all the other ones as well. EU, everyone is going to be... I'm probably going to go and control Niger myself. Just so nothing else unforeseen happens. Okay, thank God. The two most important ones, which are the ones with armies already en route, were accepted. I think everything else... I don't even know if there's any other way for us to get there. Yeah, the initiative holds all this crap because I booted them out of everywhere else. It's kind of my fault. And I think this is kind of the game design too, that you end up with the servants being the outcasts, which means they end up in Africa and South America, and then those are the places, of course, the aliens choose to invade. Anyways, for now, thanks for watching. We'll see what happens in the next one. Until then, stay safe and take care.